In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my first impressions of TradingView's volume profile tools. If you watch any of my analysis videos in the past, you know I rely heavily on volume profile to give me an edge in the market. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about the composite volume profile along with the daily volume profile levels as well. And we're going to go ahead and jump into some of these levels. And I'm going to share with you guys what I like and what I dislike about the indicators. We're going to start off first looking at the composite profile. And when we look this up, this is actually called the VRVP. Now, I keep referring to this profile as the composite profile, but they're going to call it the visible range volume profile, VRVP. And what this is going to do, if I zoom the chart out, then the profile will continue to build out. If I zoom it up a little bit closer, then it's only going to compile the data for what we can actually see on the chart. Now, I usually go back roughly a year to a year and a half when I'm looking at the composite profile. And the way we can find this indicator is we can come right over here to indicators, and we're going to just type in volume profile, and it's going to be the indicator right here where it says visible range volume profile. You click on that and it'll bring you to the indicator. Now, I've already set it up on my chart, and here are the initial settings that I'm using. If we come right over here to the settings wheel, under the input tab, we can see where it says rows layout. Now, you can have number of rows or ticks per row. I prefer to do ticks per row, and depending on what instrument you use will depend on, what the row size is that you want. If I, let's say, put this to 200, we'll see that the volume profile, the bars, each one of these bars on the histogram are extremely thick. I don't want it like that. And then if you put it two less, meaning you only do one, on some charts, because there's so many ticks in that session, it just won't compile. Like right now, we don't see it compiling over here. Now, I found a happy medium. Right now, I'm actually currently using 36 for the row size. And I look at for volume, I go ahead and I use total volume. You can use volume delta, you can use volume up or down. I prefer to use total volume. And then the value area, I've used different values in the past. I've used 68 and I've used 70, but for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been using 68. Even on the NinjaTrader platform, I use 68 on all those volume profile levels as well. Now on this page, here are going to be the values that I really pay attention to. Obviously, we have to have volume profile checked. Then we have the width, percent of box. Now, right now I have it set at 14, but if I go ahead and I increase this, you can see the volume profile sticks out. I found 14 for my monitor configuration to be good. If you want the profile on the right-hand side, you have that selected on right. If you want it on the left, you can have it on the left. I prefer to have mine on the right. Now for up volume, I have white selected, and I have the opacity right around 35. If I bring it all the way up, you can see how bright it is. So I just kind of, dim it down just a little bit. So 35, 36 on that right there. And then when we go to value area, I just picked this color right here. I have the opacity set at 70. Now you can make it brighter if you want. You can make it dimmer. I might actually make mine a little bit brighter. I think I'm going to leave it about 70 for the time being. Point of control, you want to make sure you have that checked. Now, when we look at value area, VAH and VAL, I don't normally set these up on the chart because then it starts drawing way too many lines on the chart for me. I can visually see where value area high and low is on the composite. And on the composite profile, I'm not really so concerned with value area high and low. I'm more concerned with the low volume nodes and the high volume nodes. Those are the areas that are important to me. I do want to see where the point of control is at. The developing POC, I do not use that. If we turn that on, we can see how the POC has shifted as it's gotten to this point, and I don't currently use that, especially on the composite profile, so I'll uncheck that. They have the same thing for developing value areas. Again, that is not something I use. Labels on price scale, I have that checked. Value in status line, I have that checked. Now, when we come over here and we look under visibility, this is one of the features I really like when I'm using this. We come over and we look at days, right? Anything from 1 day to 366 days, it'll go ahead and plot this on the chart. And the same thing for weeks, 1 week to 52 weeks, 1 month to 12 months. If it's anywhere in that time period for that chart, it'll go ahead and display the chart. So one thing you'll notice, if I jump over to if I go ahead and exit out, we jump over to an hourly chart, and now we won't see that profile over there. However, if we come right back over here and we select hours, now you can see it comes up on here because we're on a 1 hour chart. However, I do not want that on the composite profile. I'm only using that on my daily daily and weekly and monthly charts. I'm not using it on the intraday basis charts, which brings me to another point. When we come over and we look at the 30-minute volume profile levels, and this is going to bring me to a point that I dislike. So you want to make sure you watch this video so you understand what it is that I dislike. But when we look at these volume profile levels, I actually like them. They do a fairly decent job other than one pesky little mistake. And I tried looking for a setting. If you guys know what it is when I share that, please let me know in the comment section down below. Now, when you come over here and we look at the settings, we're going to come over here and go through the settings real quick. Under input, under sessions, I want to go ahead and select all. Now you can put custom date and times in there. And I will be in a future video, I will be setting up the volume profile levels on here, similar to my NinjaTrader platform. Also, volume, I want that set to total. Value area, I want it set to 68, similar to how I was using the visible range volume profile. Rows, row layout, and I want it to be ticks, right? Number of row, ticks per row, not number of rows. And then I simply put this down to row size, number 1. Now I want to extend the POC. Now, what that is going to do, we can see that we have a POC right here. Until the market comes back up and tests that level, it'll keep putting it out in time. Now, the reason that's beneficial is that can provide a very high probability target moving on into the future. So that's definitely something that you want to have out there. Now, I do not extend the value area high or the value area low levels out. That's not something I find very useful when trading with volume profile. We come over here, we want to make sure we have volume profile checked. We want to make sure we have values. Now, right here, you'll see a couple key settings. One, width of the box. If we go ahead and we trim that down, it basically makes the volume profile extremely small. If we go ahead and we dial it up, then you can see the profile continues to get thicker and thicker as I increase the size. Now I'm going to bring this down in anywhere from about 32 to 36, I find is my happy medium spot. Placement, it basically says it all. If you want it to the right, you put it on right. If you want it on the left, you put it on the left. Now, on the daily volume profile levels, I prefer to have them on the left-hand side. When we look at up volume right here, again, I have that selected as white, and I have it all the way up to 44. Then down here to the value area, we see I selected this blue right here, and I have the opacity set all the way up to 100%. Again, the point of control, we want to make sure we have that box checked. If we uncheck it, we can no longer see the point of controls. And the POCs are very important. If you've watched any of my analysis videos in the past, you guys know I rely very heavily on that. I do not use the developing POC or the developing value areas. Labels on price scale, values and status line, I go ahead and leave both of those boxes checked. Now, the way I have this profile actually set up, under visibility, I only have minutes selected, and as long as I'm on a 30-minute chart, then it will go ahead and put the volume profile levels on the chart, anywhere from a 30-minute chart to a 59-minute chart. So if I put this chart to a 1-hour chart, what we'll notice is the profiles will go away because 59 minutes is less than 1 hour. 1 hour is 60 minutes in time. So I only want to see those daily volume profile levels on the 30-minute chart. Now, this is where the problem comes in with the volume profile levels that I found with TradingView. If we go ahead and we look at what the point of control is right here, we can see it comes in at 439.59. Now, if I were to go ahead and dial this down, let's say that I want it on a chart anywhere from 1 minute to 59 minutes to show up. Now, keep in mind, again, the POC, 439.61. If I go ahead and I put this on a 5-minute chart, in theory, the point of control should be the same exact thing, but now we have the point of control at 440.42. So I don't understand why that shifts. True volume profile should not shift. I've showed you guys that with the NinjaTrader volume profile levels. They should not change. They should stay exactly what they were. But again, they are very, very similar when we look on the 30-minute chart to the profile levels that I am accustomed to using on the NinjaTrader platform. Now, if you want to learn more about volume profile, watch the playlist right here.